Yay. Okay, well, welcome everybody. And my name is Gloria Becker, for those who don't know me. And I'm going to walk you through the first unit of our new Havayah program that we're really very excited about. I had the wonderful challenge this summer of working with Lori Rubin, our project director, and Aaron Hirsch from Gratz College to write the curriculum that you're going to use this year. I think it's pretty good, but I'm fairly certain that it's not perfect. Curriculum is always a work in process, and so throughout the year, we'll be making adjustments based on what you need or how it's working for you. But while it's written on a piece of paper, that's all it is. It's not written in stone. All right? Everybody should have received a link today about how to get into our online classroom space. That space will be for us. Anytime that somebody posts something to it, I get an email. And if you're having difficulty or a question, this is the place to post it. So you can use the link that you were sent, or, and I'm going to start sharing my screen now. So you can go to the Gratz College website. That would be gratz.edu. Up in the right-hand corner, it says Moodle login. In case you forget the direct link, you'll go there and log in to our class, which is next fall 2016. Course number 159. When you come in, you will see this. I'm going to switch my role here to student so that you will see on my screen exactly what you will see on your screen when you go into it. I know most of you have gone into the orientation course. I'm sure that you will find that helpful. If you haven't done that already, please do that as we get, as we start working. Not exactly what I wanted to see. All right, here we go. So after your session with Lori Rubin, almost 2 weeks ago, we were supposed to have read through the first unit. So that would be Mifgash number 1, the 6 classroom sessions, and into Mifgash number 2. So let me start this way by asking if anyone has any questions about what we've done so far, or what you've read. You can type them into the chat window, or... Okay. So let me ask this, since you've all read this, what did you find about this that was most exciting for you? What are you most looking forward to? So you can respond in the chat window, or there we go. Okay, thank you, Andrew. Something different from the usual Hebrew school experience. That's what we're going for. Anybody else? Janet's interested to find out how this rolls out. Okay, building a community with my students. I have a tough bunch. I think this may just do that because it's all about group work and working together, and we'll figure it out. Anyone else want to share something they're excited about? Okay. What are your concerns? Do you have any concerns? Are we supposed to continue the ritual in the class that we do at the Mifgah? Good question. We will answer that as we go through the program, but thank you for raising it. Any other questions or concerns? I'm going to make a note to make sure that we address ritual. Timing. Right. So Adith Israel has both a Sunday and a Shabbat program, and Kolomet in Yardley is a Shabbat school. So they're also going to have issues with Shabbat and Sundays. Okay, PBL requires room for failure and revision. It absolutely does. And we're working in a very tight time frame. So while we want to let the kids figure things out, we want to support them the best that we can. Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm typing a message and it's not going through.
Well, you could just ask or.
Okay, looking at the time frame that we have on a Sunday morning and
Okay.
all of the things that we're trying to accomplish, is there really enough time to get everything finished on a Sunday morning? And is one of the goals actually to finish the actual unit as opposed to, I know it said it's okay not to complete, everything that has to be done. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. So the curriculum is written pretending that we live in a perfect world. So that means that every child is going to be present for every class, going to come on time, is not going to leave early. And we also know that that's not reality. So that's why lesson 6 is written the way it is, that we're more interested in having the kids go through this process of problem solving. We would certainly like them to complete the projects, but if they don't complete the projects, it's not a total loss. So you will work out, each of you will work out with your education director what you think you need. The lessons tend to go just a little bit longer so that it keeps going. Some kids will move very quickly through this, and other kids, absences or early dismissals or late arrivals, or just because they're not earth-shakingly moved by the lessons, will move at a different pace. So what does success look like in this venue? Success looks like, so let's go down through here. So I pose this for the kids as hypotheses that we want to test. Kids are pretty familiar with that. Let me find the... There we go. So in the overview of Unit 1, you'll see the enduring understandings. These are the understandings that we're going to be working throughout the year. And in the particular unit, we're going to be looking at what are the characteristics of sacred space and how those characteristics make the space sacred. Success looks like students being able to answer those questions in their own way. So in each unit, they're going to create a project that will help them get to the answers to the unit questions, as well as to build for the enduring understanding. So that's why I said in the introduction that the projects are probably going to look different from each other. I teach on Sunday mornings, I teach a 4th and 5th grade combined class for Shalom and Broomall. And we only do project-based learning. I work with 2 other teachers, and between the 3 of us, we have a combined class of about 50 kids. We all work together. It's a lot like chaos every Sunday morning. We start at 9:30. I need to turn around and the morning is over. And it's like being in a blender sometimes. But it's fun. And the kids really get into it. Right? So success looks like, are the kids able to give meaningful answers to the questions? Okay. Other questions or comments? In each unit, I've set up a forum. I'll show you that. So the forum is where we can ask questions, share advice, talk about the things that are happening in the classroom. There's one forum for each of the 3 units, just so that we can kind of keep a handle on focusing on one unit at a time. We're working on putting together all the student project planners. And at the beginning, there's a welcome letter for them. And I would start by having them read it and talk about it with them. Then they get to what the project is. So this is very plain. It doesn't have all the graphics that the kids' planners will have, and doesn't have all the graphics that you have in your booklets. What you will be able to do is go to any of these things and print from the website, so that you can print out. So if a kid loses their thing, or they mess up their page, or you want to do something different with the pages, you're more than welcome to go in and download and copy any of the materials that you need. Okay? So now we get to the opening ritual, which was Janet's question. So you can either use the ritual that's introduced during the Mifgash, or you can put your own spin on it. What we want to use the ritual for, and I'm guessing that Lori explained this, is to make sure that the kids know that they're in Havayah time. So it's to break up that time in a way so that they're now refocused on what they're about to do. So we have budgeted basically 5 minutes to do this. So hopefully it will not be a long involved ritual, but just something to create Havayah time as a sacred space and a sacred time. Then for each day, there's a short text, a kavanah, which is an intention or focus, to start the day. And these are texts that were specifically chosen to help inform the kids and let them discuss issues that relate to the projects that they're going to be working on. So there'll be like a mini lesson each day that will add to their knowledge. And if you go to the student planner, which I'm switching over to, right? So when you come back from the mifgash on the first day in the classroom, the cloud questions are there for you to help remind the kids about what they've learned at the mifgash. So the kavanah for day one has to do with the sanctuary. And there are some questions to think about. You can do this as a whole class, or you can have them do it in their working groups. And the idea is to finish that time with a plan of what it is they want to accomplish. So one of the things that they're going to do on the very first day is form their groups, their working groups, and complete the project Brit. I left 1, 2 down here for anything that you or they might want to write in. So they'll give their project a name, they'll write their names in here, they'll sign it, and then you may want to make a copy of it or post them in the classroom, but definitely make a note of who's working with whom. Next question I know everybody wants to ask is, how many kids should work in a group at one time? So some of that depends on how many kids you have in your classroom. At the very minimum, we'd want to split the class into 2 working groups. I would try and keep the group number down to like 4, especially for the first unit. So you would divide your kids into 2 groups, 3 groups, or 4 groups. Because it'll take you some time to get used to working with the kids all working in separate groups. So I don't want to make you crazy when you first start doing this. So I would try and break your class up into 2 groups, 3 groups, or 4 groups. Should you make the groups or should the kids make the groups? The answer is whatever you're most comfortable with. So if, like Alexis, you have a particularly difficult class and you know that right off the top, you may want to do some social engineering to put together a group that you think will work, or at least separate kids you know who won't work together.
I have some questions also.
Sure.
I don't know if you said at the first meeting, but I wasn't able to be there. Is this the same as the tribes, or that's separate?
That's separate. This
Okay.
is the first classroom session.
Okay, so the tribes are just when we have the meetings together?
Right. During the Mifgashim, they'll work in their tribal units. Right?
The other thing was, is this online thing for the students or just for the teachers?
It's just for the teachers.
So they don't have any.
They do not have access to it. It's for us to be able to communicate, share, and have as a resource.
Okay.
Right? That was a good question. So this is your first classroom day. So again, you'll want 2, 3, or 4 groups of students, depending on how many students you have in a group. And hopefully after the first unit, you'll feel more comfortable and the kids will feel more comfortable that they can have more say in who they work with. But sometimes for the first unit, I know last year when I was working with my kids, we grouped them for the first unit because we knew that we had some difficult kids. I wanted to make sure that the first unit went as well as we could make it go. So you'll do your ritual. You have a little text study here. The kids can write down their thoughts to the questions. And at the end of the time, you want to leave 5 or 10 minutes for kids to write up their project journal. This is something that you'll want to check in on, perhaps make comments on, so that you can see how the kids are reflecting on their own work and where they are in the project, because you're not going to be able to hover over each group all the time. Okay, so day 1 is start with your ritual, go into what they've remembered, what they've retained from the Mifgash, do the text study, have the kids break up into groups and complete the brief. And then at the end of the period, do the project journal. You may want to linger a little bit more on the text study that day to get them set up. Questions about day 1? Sound doable so far? I'm going to move forward if I don't hear any screaming. All right, day 2. Again, start with the ritual. Then you'll go to your text study, your kavanah. Answer the questions. They should already be in their groups, but anyone who missed day 1 will need to be added into an existing group. And on day 2, or if they're ready and time allows on day 1, to start thinking about their group's project and presentation. So I've created a visual organizer for the kids to use. So they'll talk about their ideas. They've now had the Mifgash, and they've had 1 day of class. So they should begin to have some ideas of the kind of sacred space they want to create. So they can do a little brainstorming and then figure out which project they want to do, figure out what they might need and how they'll get it. And then I've created a task list, leaving some spaces blank in case they have tasks that they want to add, to know who in the group is working on it and when they need to complete it. They need to figure out what their presentation is going to be about, who is their audience, what do they want the audience to know, feel, or do, what do they want to say about how they created the project, explain the characteristics of the sacred space that they've created. Right? So that goes back to the enduring understandings and the framing questions. And what will they do to make their presentation interesting? So we're really giving the kids the steering wheel, which means, like my wife, you have to sit in the passenger seat and there's no brake on your side and there's no steering wheel on your side. You're the guide on the side, not the sage on the stage.
I think someone's mic isn't working. They're posting in the chat.
Let me go up here and open the chat room. I'm not seeing the chat room. Concerns me just a tad.
Janet Lutterman, it says, please repeat, my mic is not working. Please unmute me.
Okay. I don't think I have her muted. Let me double check. Janet, you're not muted. Not on my end, anyway. Let's go back here. For some reason, there we go. Please repeat, my mic is not working. I don't have you muted from here, Janet. So if you're not hearing, it may be your speakers at your end. But you are definitely not muted here. Okay. Okay. Go back here. So at the end of, hopefully they'll complete their project plan during day 2, and then they'll do their journal. It's kind of like their exit ticket, and off they go. Any questions about day 2? Day 3, lather, rinse, and repeat. Day 3 is when they'll start in earnest working on their project. So they'll have days 3, 4, and 5 in your classroom to actually create their project based on their plan. So again, ritual, text study, project work, journal. Okay. And they go through like that. And then on day 6, hopefully their project is mostly completed. And day 6 should sort of be set aside to practice their presentation. So every kid in the group needs to be able to present independently, because when they go to the second mifgash, they're going to be separated, and they're going to explain their project to members of their tribe. So each kid needs to be able to explain that. Okay. My biggest concern is the group projects. My kids come so sporadically. Sometimes I have one student from a group and they don't know what to do. So that's part of the reason why we have the text study and the journaling, is to leave a trail of breadcrumbs so that when kids are absent, They can pick up the thread of what's going on. Sometimes it is difficult, so I wouldn't want to make my groups so small. So generally, we try and have about 6 kids in a group. So if you have 12 students, you'll have 2 groups, 6 in each group. The odds of all 6 of them being absent on the same day is a lot slimmer than if they were working in pairs. So the kids who are present should be able, with the journals and the resources they have, to keep moving the project forward. If you have 18 kids in your class, you might want to have 3 groups of 6.
Did you say
I
3?
know not everybody's class comes into a nice round number like that. Yes.
You say 3 groups of 6?
If you have 18, I would recommend a group size of 6 kids in a group, 3 groups. Have 17 kids, you might do a 6, 6, and a 5. But we find that if you have at least 4 kids in the group, there will be enough kids that come in on any given day to keep moving the project forward. And if nobody from the group shows up, the project doesn't move forward. And it's not your fault. Don't pull your hair out trying to push it. Right? We're really leaving the driving up to the kids. Our job is to guide them, is to ask questions, is to try and keep them focused on the task. If you're talking for more than 5 minutes, like I am now, you're doing it wrong. Okay? Unless there's an issue that you really need to address in the classroom. Okay? So day 6 in every unit looks exactly the same. Take out Rabbi Tarfon and we talk about there's still value in the work that they've done.
Are the kids going to get the journals that they need, or do we have to start printing them out at the beginning?
You're going to get a notebook, a 3-ring binder for each of your students with the full text of the planner, all done with nice graphics. You're going to get handed that, one for each kid.
At the Mifgash?
No. I'm not sure when. It may be before the Mifgash.
Okay.
But it certainly won't be any later than the Mifgash.
Gotcha. Thank you.
They're working on the duplication now. Okay? Got it. Good.
Gloria,
Yes.
they're all being copied on Sunday, and then we're working on delivery to each synagogue by at the beginning of next week.
Perfect. So like I said, you'll have it no later than the date of the Mifgash. All right. At the second Mifgash, Mifgash 2 and 3 are designed to wrap up the project that the kids are just finishing and introduce them to the project they're about to begin. So Mifgash number 1 will be getting the kids involved in their tribes and then introducing the team. Mifgash 2 will be finishing Unit 1 and starting Unit 2. Mifgash 3 will be finishing Unit 2 and starting Unit 3. And Mifgash number 4 will be finishing Unit 3 and celebrating our learning. Yay! There will not be Xanax or wine served at the Mifgash. Okay. So it's important because you're going to be active participants in the Mifgashim to make sure that you are familiar with the outline of the day. If there are going to be any changes to it, Lori will let you know. Okay. One more thing I wanted to do, which is why I have this board behind me, is how to be organized for the, now that we've kind of walked through the steps, how do you organize differently to do this? And the answer is probably, because I don't know how you all organize yourselves in your classroom. But I know, for those of you who know me, you know I'm a very organized person, but I had to make some changes in my organization so that I could do this successfully. So in past years, I, like many of you, have been in a classroom that has preschool stuff in it. Very common thing to have happen. Hopefully your synagogue has a thriving early childhood program. And so there's a lot of stuff, and you don't necessarily have a lot of wall space or board space. So that's why I like these trifold boards. Cardboard, foam, doesn't matter. I make a project board, and this way, when I'm done with it, I can fold it up and put it away, and then bring it out for the next time. Take a while. Here it comes. Yeah. Soccer is soccer. So, so what does this board have on it? I want you more to see just the format of the board. So across the top, I have the kids' the tote that they've signed. So this helps remind them of the guidelines for how we're going to work. Helps me keep track of who's in which group. So that's what I have across the top. Over here, I have the outline for the unit, the dates. So September 25th, the opening mifgash, and then I wasn't sure what your classroom dates are going to be, because some of you are doing them on Sundays and some of you are doing them on weekdays. So you may want to write in the weeks that your class is meeting. Below that, and you can put them in any order you want, I have the project, the information about the project. In the middle here, I have taken the welcome to Havayah letter from the beginning of the kids' binder and put it up here so that I always have the enduring understandings, the main points, hanging up in my classroom. Down below, let me tilt you so you can see it. So here I have the layout of the project presentation plan. Not the ones that are done by the kids, just a blank form. I made a pocket. I'll show you this. I made some pockets. All this is a large manila envelope that's been sliced so that papers fit in, and that if kids need extra pages, they're there and you don't have to stop in the middle of class to get them. This happens to be the feedback poster. I have, whatever the project journals, I have a place for them to put them, to hand them in, and then I can take this and look at it So I also put a card up here that will have the Wi-Fi password if you're using computers in your classroom, because nobody wants to be annoyed by answering the same question 40 times. That's the Wi-Fi password. I don't remember the Wi-Fi password. So the idea would be to have it up on your board. My board is very plain. You can make your board as splashy as you want. If you have madrichim in your classroom, giving your madrich or madricha the materials and the board and letting them put together, great idea. That's something they'll enjoy doing, and it'll help them understand what it is we're doing and what their role is. Okay. I also like to have a storage box where the kids can put their binders at the end of the day. And generally, I collect all the binders because oftentimes once they go home, they don't make it back. Now, strangely, I have had kids who have said, we really want to work on our project at home. And I say to them, well, you know, the project is really designed for you to be able to do it in class. There isn't any homework, and you don't have to do that. If you're lucky, like I was, they'll say, oh, please, 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 can we do it at home? Like I'm going to say no, right? So, exactly. Make them beg to do homework. It's a very interesting psychology. So I have had kids who were so into the projects that they have wanted to work on them outside of class. Havayah, that should be your issue or your concern. Have kids that want to do that. So we have about 12 minutes left. I want to give this time to you. If there's anything that you're not certain of, or you have questions about, or you need more explanation of, now is a good time to ask. If for some reason...
Do I ask Lori or Erin for the password to get into the website? Because I never got one.
Erin will take care of that for you.
I actually don't think they were sent. I think they were just, you were all entered in Moodle, and we need to send each of you an individual email with the username and password still.
There's the answer to that question.
I've just been getting emails forwarded through like the office people in our synagogue, so I don't know if I think I'm on the list, but I'm not positive. They emailed me saying they didn't have my email address available.
Because you have the link to this,
That means
we have your email address.
Okay.
And if for some reason we don't, we will be in touch.
Okay. Yeah, so far I don't think I've gotten any of the information. It's just been forwarded to me.
Okay.
Can you go ahead and just send me a little email note directly?
Sure.
Can I just give you my email address?
Sure.
Or you can put it in the chat box.
Would that be easy?
Put it in the chat box. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a rough start out of Israel, and they're trying to figure everything out. So this was kind of, last minute. They were figuring out who's doing this.
Well, I think they picked a good person to do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, concerns?
All the papers we print out ourselves.
You'll get a binder for each student with the project planner in it.
But all the things that you had on that bulletin board?
Yeah, they're really just pages from the binder that I've cut up.
So it'll be in there, but if they need extra, I just photocopy.
Or you can come to the website here and print out copy,
Okay.
because the whole text is in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that we need the password for?
Right. To get into the Moodle site is
Yeah.
what you'll get a password for. You'll get a password.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get them all to you tomorrow. There's really no. They'll come to you with 2 separate emails. You'll get one with the link and the username, and you'll get one immediately after with your password.
Okay.
Just a security protocol that it's 2 emails.
That's tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Because when I gets up, I gets confused.
Yep. There's a lot to remember. Right. Everybody needs a password for Moodle. So, Mark, if you would make sure that Erin gets your current email address, we'll make sure that you get a correct username and password.
Gloria, I can't see the chat room right now. Is that because you're still sharing your screen?
I'm sorry, Mark Bluestein is using a different email address.
I understand. I'm wondering why I can't see the chat room chat box right now.
You should be able to go up to the top of your screen
Mm-hmm.
and under more, ... it says chat, and you should be able to open the chat window from there.
I'm looking. Oh, okay, I got it.
Got it?
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Should our group stay the same throughout the whole year, or we can switch them up after a project's done?
You can absolutely switch them up from unit to unit.
Okay, just make sure that no tribes are in the same group.
Well, it may be, depending on how the kids are split, that you have more than one kid from a tribe in a working group.
Okay, because I have a pretty large class, so maybe it'll work out that it's not, but
It might, but I know there are at least, I think, 2 kids from each school in a tribe. So there will be at least 2 kids in one tribe. You'll have kids from the same tribe in your classroom.
okay.
They don't have to work together on the project. They can be in separate groups in your classroom.
Or it doesn't matter?
I'm sorry?
Does it matter if, like, should it be people from the same group in a tribe, or it can be different groups?
No. The tribes that they're in and the working groups they're in don't have to be the same.
But it's okay if it ends up that way?
It's if they're besties and they want to work together and that's okay with you, then absolutely.
I've been trying to separate the besties, but it hasn't gone so well.
Although, I had a group of kids a number of years ago who were working on a project together, and the 4 girls were all, like best friends and everything. And they had a very difficult time negotiating through the project.
Yeah.
And I knew that was going to happen when they picked their group. But I let it happen. And I really pushed them to work through their issues.
Yeah.
So even if they didn't finish the project, just the fact that they learned how to work together,
Yeah, that's helpful.
that's an incredibly helpful skill for them to have.
Yeah, our bunch is just very chatty, and they take lots of bathroom breaks to go chat with their friends.
Well, hopefully they'll be involved enough in this project.
Yeah, they were excited, and they really want the field trips to come.
Good. So after we finish this webinar, which we will in just a few moments, remember that when you go into each unit, it'll say Forum for Unit 1. You can go up to the button here which says Add a New Discussion Topic. I just clicked my button, and anyone can start a conversation.
Hi.
And then you go down to the bottom and hit post to forum. Yay, my post was successfully added.
Please don't talk.
Anyone can respond to any post. So if somebody has a question and you have an answer or some advice that you'd like to share, please do that. Otherwise, Lori and Aaron and I will be in and out of the Moodle site, helping you with any issues or problems or questions that you have. You can also email Lori directly or pick up the phone and give her a call. We're going to try and we want everybody to experience success. We want you to experience success. We want your school to experience success. And we want your students to experience success. And we're going to do all that we can to make sure that that happens. This is a pilot program, and you are very brave. But we have complete and total confidence in you. All right. I won't see you at the first Mifgash, but good luck and Godspeed.
Gloria, thank you so much for facilitating.
You're quite welcome.
You'll all hear from me right away with links to log in to Moodle.
Nope, somebody's ringing.
That's my phone in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody answered it.
All right.
Not for me anyway.
Good night, kids.
Thank you,
Bye.
dear.
Thank you.
No, thank you.